My name is Dontez Lindsay. I am the general manager of Dux Trading LLC, as well as the lead trainer of StockCraft. I'm not a financial advisor, nor a CPA, and the content I create is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I trade in my account, and everything I do is hypothetical in nature because it doesn't happen in your account. My experience with trading is not typical, nor does it guarantee that similar results will be obtained by you. I am merely sharing my opinion with no guarantee of gains or losses in investments. Remember, day trading can be extremely risky. You should be prepared to lose all the funds that you use for day trading. In particular, you should not fund day trading activities with retirement savings, student loans, second mortgages, emergency funds, funds set aside for purposes such as education or home ownership, or funds required to meet your living expenses. Further, certain evidence indicates that investments less than $50,000 will significantly impair the ability of a day trader to make a profit. Of course, an investment of $50,000 or more will no way guarantee a success. With that out of the way, let's get into the content. Hey guys. Hey guys. Good morning. I can't hear myself. Kind of weird. There we go. All right. So yeah, sorry I'm late. I had I'm getting like real drowsy and messing up my time from the traveling mixed with the gabapentin and a few other drugs. But main thing is, you asked if Steven covered all his BBVY. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in days, like directly. He's at first I thought he was just running around in China. Actually, he was taking care of his mom and some other people that were getting COVID. And then you know how that goes. Like, you take care of somebody that's sick, then you get sick, and then it keeps going like in a circle of he doesn't have a lot of extra time to do things. So I don't know what's going on with him right now. I'm still waiting for a response. But that's where that's at right now. Like, someone has COVID, someone went to the hospital, someone came back. So I'm waiting on a message just like you guys. Other than that, yeah, I'm just trying to practice getting out of bed on time. Because I keep just going to sleep and not getting up, going right past my alarms, and I got like a lot of alarm. What else? Going through. Oh yeah, pre-market prep. I was also having internet issues, so I had to fix that this morning. And a few of the cats are sick because of weak stomachs and some other stuff. So running around a lot. But that gabapentin is that's weird. It has so many side effects. I'm still thirsty. You gotta take some Advil. I'll take that only when needed. But like, I tried to do that before, it just lights me up. I don't even know my normal routine when I look through this stuff. Everything is red. Is this? Oh no, I'm looking at percentage down. Okay, there we go. I was like, something's off. I actually went live yesterday when the market was, closed. And OSSSS, he was just like, dude, the market's closed today. So I was like, oh, okay. I think got me messed up. But you know how we do with this scanner and other scanners. We're looking at things above 20%. Then if it's a pre-market breakout or something that may turn into a bounce short or gap up short or something like that. When it comes to continuations from Friday, I was looking at ZVSA, JSPR, BBVY, and the rest of them, I think they're pretty much done. Because the chances of them coming back up are not really what's important. It's more of, did they have a consolidated day with enough volume, and was it condensed enough to use it as a resistance? And the answer to that is, I don't think so. We did see something cool on JSPR. It came all the way back to its previous close. Now, it did that pretty quick, so I thought there was going to be some type of bounce. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't even have any volume. With BBBY, remember this one had about 50 million resistance on a whole day in like 50s, 5 to 50s. Steven put in a short on this. It was pretty heavy. He made money on that. I don't know how much he told you, but he told me, and he made a lot on that. I don't know if he covered. His usual technique for like covering and stuff, it goes into like fourth. So like he covers like 3/4, and then he puts more on bounces. But this one didn't bounce, especially in the normal place that he would add on the bounce. So I don't think he covered all of it. If anything, this would actually be the day to add when this bounces back up to like 420. Because there is going to be some bounce on this. When it comes to like the most recent news on this, it is I looked at it yesterday. So it wasn't any real news. They were just saying that there was a larger problem. Just saying people can't actually do anything in finance because their financial literacy is way behind. But today they're bringing up Ryan Cohen's name again, and so some people might be triggered by that. And they said GameStop Cohen is going after Alibaba stock. I don't even understand these headlines now. Yeah, I don't think this is enough of a catalyst to start another rally. But they do mention like a trigger name for everybody. Like two of them, GameStop and Ryan Cohen, especially for BBBY. But these articles are explaining why he's not going. Yeah. Main thing is, I don't think this is enough to like start another rally. But the technicals, pulling back that fast, you demand some type of bounce, but not much. Mainly to like 410, 420. Also forgot, allergies are getting me too. It's been raining for weeks. Oh yeah. Other things. This NVCN, we've seen this come up before. But that's a message. Good morning. You say traveling and a few other girls? No. Well, technically, cats are girls. No, there's nothing here on this. Yeah, these are really low volume days. Yeah, there's nothing on NVCN. And if we're talking about days that have been grinding, there's that BWEN. I think it's in a similar boat. There's nothing like an edge on it yet. I just want to see what the market's offering right now in this cycle. And things with range, it doesn't look like it's going to be a daily thing yet, but there might pop up. There might be something that pops up in the first like 30 minutes. after the market opened. But for now, I don't see anything unless I'm missing it. JSBR, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty much a bounce short. That's what I put it down as. Yeah, last Friday when I did the pre-market prep, I left and went back to Ohio for a bit, hung out with the parents, helped them take down Christmas lights, take care of some chickens, did some stuff where like, you get to butcher a chicken, like for meat chickens, and take the eggs and stuff for egg chickens, rewire some things for solar panels inside of the hen house, and etc. Yeah. Long story short, I don't think that was really healthy for my back to be on those like 7-hour flights with delays. And yeah, but other than that, I'm happy I went. Happy I'm back. Glad I'm back. I don't get trades till tomorrow, so there's no plays for me, even if there is a play, which I don't see one. I do remember SI being a thing, but let's go back to the BWN first. So with BWN, didn't even have a lot of volume today. Didn't have history that puts it above the rest. Yeah, this Friday. Yeah, there's nothing that this really could be. Like I'm saying, if it could turn into something. Because technically, this one doesn't have any resistance to hold it down. So we've seen a lot of stuff with like reverse splits and more that are on fresh charts that just keep going up. But let me see. SI. I'm gonna do it on here. It'll probably be faster to load. Yeah, this one skipped. Maybe we can get a push from SI into whatever happened on the 4th of January for SI. Because there's a big drop there. I don't know what that drop was, but around 3/4. It's New York Stock Exchange. Market cap's pretty big too, so you could consider it top heavy. But let me see what happened on the 4th. This is around the close. Silvergate provides 4th quarter financial metrics update. Okay. Oh, it's a FTX thing. Yeah, I wouldn't force it. Best trade, not the trade right now, until we see something actually pop up. But just in case you're confused what I was trying to do, besides overtrade, I'll pull it up on stock graph. It'll take its sweet time. Dude, bro, I'll be praying for his family. Yeah. I wouldn't have even known if the cats weren't sick, and then I had to go to one of our other friends to pretty much translate / buy the medicine and pass off the information of where their vet and stuff is. because before Jimmy, he would be the one to take care of a lot of that stuff, or he would just like, you know, we'd keep passing information and we're like, all right, delegate, who can do this, who can do that. Oh, SI didn't come up with what do you call that? Quote media. Yeah, but pretty much what I was doing is on SI, there was this big drop in the pre-market. I thought it was actually intraday when I first saw it, but I was going to use about like 19.5 20 as a light resistance if this did spike up to that point, which would be about 50%. Because we can use like 13, add on about 7, that puts you around about 20, and you know, around there. I think that'd be a light resistance into a minimum push, and you could wait for a pullback of like what 15%, 20. Yeah, but that's not really worth it to force it. So I'm gonna leave that out. But if we have any other tickers. Honey, tea, ginger, lavender. You forgot pepper. But yeah, I know where this is going. Dr. Benji's elixir. This is earnings season. Short squeezes more likely. Yeah, yeah. So the what do you call that? Okay. How many notes did you pull up? Other than earnings season. Bankruptcy sector run. Is that still happening? Like everything that was going bankrupt. Other than like BBBY. Because the same people that were trading those bankruptcies, they're going to go into like the next one. And you know, in penny stocks, there's always like five going bankrupt at the same time. But back on the earnings season. Every earnings season is like 3 months. Market is open. And there's always something coming out with the earnings. I just don't remember the place to go for that. Like I'm thinking Market Watch, and there's an earnings calendar, but main thing is we want to go to things with volume. And if we did look for stuff with the earnings, it would have came up already as either like they're preparing for positive earnings or they already had the earnings released, and that would have been like that 15-20%. And a lot of these tickers are actually really, really large prices. I don't think these actually even considered themselves as like penny stock. Kind of put some filters on them. I'll put up my other one. Yeah, but we don't see anything popping up for now. We're just gonna give it time. So you're long BBBY at 3.26. You think it's gonna squeeze? Yeah, I already said my number. Like 410. Pretty much the open, like around the open of the Thursday. This opened at 353. 20% push puts you at 420. I'm pulling up more scanners now. Okay, this is better. I like the NASDAQ percentage up. Now the numbers aren't like in the hundreds, but now it's still bad. Now I'm looking at OTCs, so I want to look at only above $1. Still not up. He said JSPR was annoying. I saw it do a bull flag, so I covered and went long, then insta drop. I hope you had a tight wrist. Anybody else check out that new Martin Luther King sculpture? Like, Twitter was tearing it up. Like, depending on which angle you saw the picture first, it gave you a different impression. Still am I? So in terms of the volume on BBBY, it's kind of light. Like, first 5 minutes, we're only at 10 million. The previous days on BBBY, you know, they're pretty heavy. That was a big one. The 240 and the 310, those started with mornings
of at least 20 million, like in the pre-market. Because remember, on the day where it was 240, I was saying that the estimate only had it going up to about like 180. And then I'm like, okay, but that's not going to stay like that. It's going to change. It's going to speed up. They're all going to uptick. They're not going to halt, but they're all going to uptick. And, you know, you're going to have to add a little bit to the estimate just to get in the ballpark. Oh, now you have a white screen. Oh, that's fine. We can still use this. Now, I'm not going to pull up anything close to $1 in this MGOL. Black screen now. Probably saving us from overtrading. It's fine. But I'm still not seeing anything for now. See what other tickers. We could look for continuation. Come along. Ooh, gotta run. Love you, bro. All right, later, Ben. Good morning. Wasn't JSPR a gap plus bounce? Yeah, it was. It gapped up pretty high. Well, hold on. What did I put it at? I know there was another one that was a mixture. It looked like a failed gap through resistance, but it was closer to a gap plus bounce. But that wasn't JSPR. That was BBAI. Now the JSPR, I didn't even write that one down. I'm slacking. I'll probably put it directly in my notes. What would I put it in? First, I said notes, stats. Because I was just looking at my Friday stream when I was what do you call it? When I was analyzing it, or trying to call it out beforehand. And the only thing that day was ZBSA and JSPR. So JSPR was the only thing with some potential. But let's look at it. So pretty much during the past year, there's not a lot to keep it down. And then the consistent resistance on this doesn't really exist. And looking at the price action that is there, there's not much to hold this down, but it does stay within like $1 for a little bit, between like 3 and 4. And that really didn't do much for us. But the main thing is that day with the 60 million resistance, the majority of that resistance, like when you look intraday, it consolidated after 12 o'clock. And that was within 50 cents. And that's where most of your volume's gonna like come in. Even though most of the volume normally is put on the spike, that consolidation is the area we want to look for, like a bounce short, not like going up. So the way you differentiate between a gap plus bounce and a bounce short is the bounce short. Yeah, you're going to look at everything on the daily first, because you need to have that resistance of everyone just looking at the daily. And we're looking at 50% minimum push. It didn't matter if it's in the pre-market or intraday. It just needs that minimum 50% push. So you can look on the daily candle to see it come down. But with a gap plus bounce, you only want a 20% push into a resistance. But the key word is into a resistance. When you have the start of the daily candle inside of the resistance already, that's where things get a little bit tricky. That's only looking at the daily candle. That's why you have to, go intraday, look for consolidation. Because if you're just looking at the daily candle, you're automatically going to just risk the high a day, which at that point was like 3.8. And we had that day start off at like 1.9. And when it opened, it went up to 2. So that put it up, I think that's like 25%. Main thing is that push has to be with under 20%. And so if you do $2 with a 20% push, they only put you at 2.4. And that's saying that 2.4 is going to put you within the heaviest part of that resistance. And that's not the case for JSPR. The heaviest part of this resistance is actually closer to 3. Whenever you deal with resistances, you want to deal with half dollars and whole dollars. When it comes to the half dollars and whole dollars in JSPR, in this, this heaviest individual resistance, the heaviest part is closer to 3 than it is to 250. So this would classify more for a gap plus bounce than a bounce plus gap or a bounce short, if that makes sense. So like there's bounce short where you just have the minimum, you're looking at the daily, you're just going in on the daily candle, there's a resistance, there's a push, and it has to be minimum 50. It's actually 40. Then you go into that, you get your half spike pullback. But with bounce plus gap, it has to be 20% push into the previous resistance. And you can't be within the resistance like in the pre-market before that point. You have to have a push into that, and then that's where people find that what do you call that when it's not neutralized, but they find that fixed price like right away. And it's mostly because of the daily candle overwhelms lower time frame. But that's bounce short and bounce plus gap. Now gap plus bounce, that's where it's more of a gap up short, and then it's a bounce short at the same time because you're like the intraday. And that's why this one becomes a gap plus bounce, because you're already inside of the resistance. So it's technically taking effect, but it still has enough to push past 20%. And the consolidation is towards the upper echelon, like upper third, upper fourth region of the individual resistance, which is, like 260 to like 360 on this point. Because remember, when we evaluate a resistance, we're not looking at just the volume. We're looking at how condensed or how dense is that resistance in terms of like dollar range. And we like our favorites, like within 20%, within 10%, and things like that, but can't be perfect. So you just have to trust the consolidations to work. Because sometimes the spike is supposed to have heavier resistance than the actual consolidation. Then you're weighing back and forth, like, which one do I use? In this case, it's about 50-50 in terms of the volume, because consolidations are supposed to have the most volume coming in and out. But yeah, don't complicate it too much. Just know that this is a gap plus bounce, because it's more of gapping into that, because it gapped in the pre-market pretty high. Then it gapped again when it does push into that consolidation, because we see all this in hindsight. But the most important thing is the pre-market spike. Like when we look for gap up shorts, remember, we're only looking for things that are going to push about 60%. We already got that in the pre-market, which puts it closer to gapping more than bounce short. Because when we do a bounce short, we're risking that the top of that individual resistance. When we're doing bounce plus gap, we're still not within the resistance. We're risking that daily candle resistance. But gap up short, you can make it a gap up short by having either consistent resistances on individual candles with like minimum 500,000, but you actually just want it to be something to act as a magnet. And when you're in the resistance, like inside of it, because the range is so large, that's where it has that magnet like feeling, and that's why it becomes gap plus bounce. The other part of that is individual resistance, especially when there's consolidations and you have access to the intraday. The consolidation, still assuming that you're using the whole dollars and half dollars, you want the morning push to be into that. And that's why it's a mixture of both, because you're calling half of it off the daily candle and the other half intraday. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm pretty sure if you go back through it a few times, you can differentiate between the three. Other than that, I still don't see anything worth looking at for now, unless you like to trade things that are closer to the NASDAQ requirement of $1. Kind of looking at this DCFC, but I don't know if I'm being like prejudiced to the name of the ticker, but it just doesn't look like it's gonna do something. Okay, largest customer order in company history. First times are always cool. Like milestone. Like we had a milestone the other day. It was about a week ago. And that actually is the reason a stock kept going. Like everyone shorted it pretty early, including me. I actually overtraded on it because I thought it was weak, and I still think it's weak, especially since it had a higher market cap. But since it was like a first time mixed with a few other things, like, see, I'm still not 100% on what brought it back down, but it having a milestone like that and people being desperate in general, I think they saw it as something. But this has a $2 last price, and I'm not that desperate, and I don't think you should be either. Oh yeah, I remember what I was doing. JSPR. Yeah. Yeah. No. But realized this was the wrong. There we go. 13th. Okay. Good morning, wasn't Jay Spirit though. Just finished watching all of Duck's YouTube videos. NEGG from yesterday, MGOL pushing. Yeah, but I couldn't bring up MGOL. Yeah, see, it goes black. Oh, this one finally came up. Yeah, but it's scanning the same stuff. Nothing good. I feel like every other day I'm pulling up NEGG. So, you know how after a parabolic or a squeeze, there is less liquidity? And a lot of people that see a squeeze into the end of the day, they sometimes short, thinking that, you know, there's so much liquidity, it's hard to carry that into the next day. When you have like a big drop, you can use those places as a bounce short, especially the half spike. If it drops like really large amount, like a panic. So using the 50% and the 3/4. If this one did bounce back up to, you know, at least 3/4, I'd be willing to risk the high on that NEGG just because it had a 75 million day, and the normal volume on this is like the average daily volume is way low. But again, that'd be a stretch because we don't know what the news is and what caused that panic. But the market cap is pretty high, so another reason why we shouldn't touch it, because we want to deal with market caps under 200 million and stay in the small cap area. The only reason we've been dealing with the 500 and plus is because of EBBY. And that one, it's a meme stock, so it doesn't follow normal statistics in the first place. So let's stay disciplined, stick to the rules. NEGG, I showed you what I thought about on the technicals, and I still think it's a cheap price. Volume's pretty low right now, and that estimate is way below what it had on Friday. So yeah, there's no chance that we can, you know, make a new high on this. There's not no chance. There's always a little chance, but not likely. Ah! All right, guys, I'm about to head out soon. I still want to see if this MGOL. Oh, see, it's not even loading on this. I'm using 3 different data providers and it's not loading. Oh, and this just went white screen. Okay, I think my internet went out. No, you guys are here. All right, study day though. Here we go. I just want to pull up the chart so I can see it. All right, this is what we're gonna do. Actually, no. MGOL. Oh, so it's an IPO. That's why it's not coming up on a lot of this stuff I'm pulling up. Eight. Where was this shelf? Not shelf. Call that. The price that it like actually opened. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't think this is gonna turn into anything until it turns to a multi-day run. But if it did, you know, just get massively beaten down, may look for a bounce short later, like probably a few weeks from now. So we'll keep it in mind. They'll also put it on their like brokers and platform stuff like that later. But yeah, for now, I still don't see anything. It's been at least 30 minutes. Oh, sight. I would pronounce something by the way it looks like it sounds to me. I'll type it and it'd just be completely wrong. You saw me do that like 5 times right there. So this went up to 380 in the pre-market. So it has the ability to run up to there. It told on itself. We still got a whole dollar on that. And it's a 16 million volume. It's not crowded. It's already up 200%. Previous history and catalysts though. That's what we need to know. Main thing is I don't like the price. Biotech. So this can run as much as it wants. So 380 is definitely not pushing it. Now it did come from 80 cents, but we've seen stuff go from 80 cents to like over $10. I forgot which one actually started at 80 cents since there's so many biotech. But I know they at least went up to $4. I forgot which one was the last one, like that was specifically 80 cents. But though the same crowd that traded that last one, they're probably in this one. So there's nothing to short, but there may be something along. Other than that, yeah, this is the only thing that's getting volume and attention that may be worth making any kind of trade in terms of a scalp. When we look at this on the daily though, the next resistance on this is a little bit over a year ago, and it's all the way at 4. There's a slightly smaller one that it looked like it may have just bounced off of, but that's like the minimum. That's 7. August 1st? Yeah, August 1st. Pretty much 250. Yeah, it hit right off that 250. But that 7 million is not going to do a lot, but it can a little bit, just enough to get a small pullback. But with biotech, small resistances won't do much, even when they're matched with massive extension. And this is up 170% already. And, you know, with no competition in terms of, you know, people putting volume in other places, I can't really see people just using that 250 the whole day. They'll use it for the morning. So if this actually stays above 2 after 10:30, you know, the first rush in the morning and the second rush in the morning of people buying this, I think that's going to blow up. It's going to break out. And then that's where you start getting your into $3. So if you did want to load up on this, pretty much aiming for some type of break after 10:30, now would be the time while this is testing like lower 2. And then you're hoping for a clean break of the 250, which only has 7 million on the daily candle at August 1st. Now, again, this is for like quick 20% long moves, unless you want to just be daredevil and using that 7 million day at August 1st as a resistance to bring this down. But you still have the next like 28 minutes to about like 10:40 to like have another rush of people come back in on this biotech, which, you know, this market cap isn't dirt cheap kind of low, like below 10 million, but it is pretty close. Now the float, I'm happy it's not a micro float, and that's more in favor towards the shorts, but the same story is there. This is going up on no news, which is something we did see pop off like a while ago. Yeah, so I gotta stop before I convince myself to trade with no day trade. So still nothing going on. Everybody stay disciplined. Back to studying. But if you did want to gamble on something, there's CYAD, but I still wouldn't recommend it, because this is going to go to 3+. And when it does do a breakout, calculate the breakout from 250. And if you want a full breakout, it pretty much puts it at 5. If you want a partial breakout, it'll put it closer to 4. So pre-market went to 3.8. So I think most people be taking their profits around that point, but still partial breakout puts it at 4. Full breakout puts it at 5. Be safe. I'm heading out. Peace. $7.4, 2.55. Thank you, Muhammad. Real volume, 4.7, 4. Yeah. Yeah. Here's that intraday. So if it does do that full breakout from 250 to 5, this is the most opportunity right there. Yeah, but by that time, going from 80 cents all the way up there, yeah, that puts you way over. Yeah, let's just do it. 5, 8. That puts you at like 600%. It goes up there. That's crazy. Which is still possible, especially with it being the only stock that has more than 2 million volume with our normal requirement. Yeah. All right. Later, guys. See you tomorrow. Where's the button?